In this final video of our intro series, we will learn how to take our scene and publish an augmented reality or AR version of our scene. This video will follow an existing tutorial, and it also requires you to sign up with 8th Wall, a third-party platform to build immersive web AR experiences that work on every major mobile device. Just like we did with the VR version of our scene, we're gonna copy or duplicate really the completed final version that we created for the web, and then we're gonna duplicate that and make an AR version. So if here from the dashboard, I'm gonna go to drafts. I have a bunch of different versions, and you will probably not, but that's okay. I'm just gonna click on Intro Course Live Complete and see how I have an Intro Course AR Final. Well, we're essentially gonna be building that. So with Intro Course Live Complete, or just whatever you have it named, I'm going to duplicate. And we'll rename it. And we'll call this one Intro Course Live AR2. Everything will look familiar so far. And let's just make sure everything is working as it did the last time. Okay, great. It grows, expands, explodes, and we can click on the hot spots. Okay, cool. And then we click on this. All right, great. One thing that is a little bit different, and I just did this when we were not recording, was the info card 2, the text script. I took the background opacity down to 0. So instead of having like a purple background, it'll be transparent. So I'm just leaving that so you can see the difference later on in this one. All right. So let's jump over to the article that we're going to be following. And the first thing that it says to do is go to 8th Wall. I already have 8th Wall pulled up, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to click Create a New Project. We're just going to call this one Test AR Pump Live. Click Create. We also need to authenticate our device, so I'm going to use my phone. So I'll click on this device authorization button, and it's going to give me this QR code. I will then switch over to my phone, of which when I scan this, I can click on this open8thwall.com in Safari, so I'll go ahead and do that. And it'll let me know that I'm in developer mode and this device has been authorized. Great. So now I know that I can use my device. Going back to my 8th Wall account, I'm going to go to my settings, and I'm going to copy this app key. Next, I'm going to go back to this article, and if you scroll down under step 2, step 3, I'm just kind of going through a few things. Make sure, if you want to follow this, this is publicly available. The URL or this link is located in the description of this video, so go ahead and check it out. But I'm just going to skim through it. Down here, I'm going to click this 8th Wall Starter Scene Zip Bundle, and once that downloads, I'll get it onto my desktop, and I will return to the Sumerian editor. I will then import that scene bundle, and if you're curious what a scene bundle is essentially an exported scene. So one of the author of this tutorial created a scene, exported it. It's a starter pack really for this AR experience. So we're really adding one scene onto the scene we have created. It's essentially combining two different scenes. And once I import this zip, you'll see we'll have a bunch more things here in the assets panel, a few more lights. And if I zoom out, our background has been converted to transparent. That's because that's what you want in AR. You want the background to be transparent. You just want your subject model, whatever it is you're focusing on, in our case, the pump. That's all we really want to be visible in our scene. So with that, we're going to start deleting a few things that we don't want. The sign, we'll delete that. The room, we'll delete that. The floor, we don't want that either. If we expand the AR content entity, you'll see there's this little statue. Let me hide my centrifugal pump. There's this statue that is provided in the scene bundle. I don't want this either, so I'm going to delete this. This extra camera that was brought in, I don't want that. It even says delete me. Makes it easy enough. All right, great. I'll show my centrifugal pump. Now, one of the things that we need to do is change some of the translation values, because this makes sense to have, because in VR, the size of this pump makes sense because it is life size. When I jump into VR and I'm standing next to this pump, that's what it really is like in real life. We don't necessarily want it to be as big in AR, especially if we're using things like our phone. So we want to change some of the scale values of our various entities. So I'll first start with the centrifugal pump. And instead of a scale of 1, 1, 1, we'll do 0.3. So it'll change it down a little bit. Because we're doing that, we're also going to be needing to change the size of that tween scale. Where is that? Our scale behavior. So I'll click on that in the Assets panel and then open up this. See how it tweens up to 3 by 3 by 3? We don't want that. Let's just go 1 by 1 by 1. So this will just be a lot smaller. It's a lot easier to control and navigate around in an AR environment. I'll then go to emit and scale down, and I'll change this to go back to 0.3, 0.3, 0.3. 0.3. There we go. All right, so does that make sense? We're changing our model to be a size of 0.3. So then when we scale up, we want it to just scale up to a size of 1 by 1 by 1. And then it'll go back to 0.3, 0.3, 0.3. Now, because everything is scaled down, that means that our hotspots and info cards are also not quite in the right spot. So we need to change these values as well. So for hotspot 1, I'm going to make it 0.7, 1.2, and 1.1. You can change the size if you want. I'm just going to go ahead and leave it. For hotspot 2, I'm going to change the translation values to 2.3, 1.2, and negative 22. Well, not negative 22, negative 0.22. That's it for the hotspots. The info cards, I need to change those translation values as well. So we'll do negative 0.22, 0.96, and 1.26. In info card 2, lastly, we will change to 3, 1, and negative 4.6. I'm sorry, that was right. Negative 0.46. There we go. All right. Next, we need to nest all of the things that we want to be visible in AR under this AR content entity. So I'm just going to drag and drop my pump, my hotspots, and my info cards. If you remember that app key that we copied from our 8th wall account, we need to go to this underscore scene scripts AR, expand the scripts component, and you see this 8th wall init script. We need to add in our key value right there. So I'm pasting it in there. A few more changes. This default camera, right now it is set as the main camera and follow editor camera. So as I move it around, you see the preview. It's kind of hard to see, but as I move it around, the preview changes. We don't want it to follow the editor camera. We want it to start in a specific spot that we designate. So I'm going to uncheck follow editor camera, and then transform. I'm going to change everything except for the Y translation value to be 0. Scale doesn't matter, but so the only value I actually want in there for the translation or the transform values of the default camera is 1.5 on the Y translation value. Okay. Next, I'm going to create a public link, publish. I'm going to copy this. And you just need to be able to pull this up on your own device. So I pull up the scene on my phone. I tap continue to use the AR sensors in my phone. So I click allow and then allow again. And here I am, there's a table in front of me, has some nice grain, so it's kind of a little bit more easy to detect locations. I tap my screen, just as it instructs me to do, and then it places it right there on the table. It's pretty small, but if I tap it, then it grows and expands. This is why we want it to be a little bit smaller, so it's a little bit easier to navigate around. And then I can click on the hotspot there to show info card 1, go around to the other side, click on it again to show info card 2, and as you can see, it's transparent. And that's how you do AR using Amazon Sumerian and 8th Wall. Thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments of this video. If you haven't already, please join also our Sumerian community on Slack at slack.sumerian.world.